Speakers, we are back with a live stream. We haven't done this in a while. I'm your host, Todd Bailey. Joining me on the show tonight, my co-hostess with the mostest.
Wake up's on the pops and pans. Hello, we're back. Holy moly!
Can you believe we looked yesterday because we said we said January. We're gonna come back. We said to a few people we'll be back. We're gonna do some live shows this year.
Yep.
And then it's nearly the end of February before we finally get the old finger out and went we're gonna do it.
Sorry.
We looked yesterday. We didn't do a show at all in 2023.
No.
How sad is that?
We're really naughty.
Life got in the way.
Sorry.
So we're really sorry. But guess what? Now we are here. We are back. We've got plenty to talk about. Some geeky stuff tonight. Ginge, just want to give a quick shout out to you, good sir. Part of the reason why you were working a job you hated, and then you went to another shitty job you hated, and then finally you've become your own boss.
Yes.
He's now he's
living
a
the
small
dream.
business owner. Streamworks.
Yeah, so live streaming. So hopefully everything here is working good enough to...
This is what he does for a living now, and good on you, buddy.
Thank you very much.
Good on you. It's
Thank
good
you.
to see. And I'll tell you what, we've got another milestone coming up next Friday. Guess what next Friday is?
The 1st of March.
Yes, but what is that the date of, Ginge? Come on, can you think about it?
You popped your cherry.
Well, my business cherry, I should say. That was the 1st of March, 2004, was when the doors to Kaboom Comics opened. So next Friday, Kaboom Comics, which is where we're streaming from live tonight.
Yes.
It will be celebrating its 20th anniversary. How cool is that?
That's pretty incredible, man. For there to be a business that's lasted this long.
I know. A lot of other comic shows. There's a bit of a tough time in comics in Australia at the moment. I'll talk a little bit more about that later on. But yes, that's a pretty big landmark. And everyone's asking, what are you going to do about it? And I went,
What are you going to do about it?
I don't know. I'll probably have a scotch to celebrate. That's about it.
That's all you're doing?
That's what I do every time. But anyway, so what we are going to do tonight, by the way, you're going to tell the people, you can comment now.
Yes.
And chat, and it will show up over here somewhere. I don't know where I'm pointing. Over here.
Comment below and we'll be able to show up some comments. We will...
throw some up there. Please excuse me tonight. I am dying of something, by the way. I've been trying to battle this now for about a week and a half, 2 weeks, and today it's really kicking my butt. So if I cough through the show, I apologise. It's not COVID.
I hope it's not COVID.
Ginge won't turn into a zombie by the end of this show. We hope.
My God.
Now listen, let's kick it along. Talk about some trailers. We're not playing the trailers. But
what did we miss as well?
We've been away for so long. We've missed a bunch of geeky stuff. Apparently not a lot of Marvel stuff because it's been pretty lackluster for the last 2 years.
You think?
A lot of people are not loving the direction Marvel Studios has gone into that. But Deadpool 3, the trailer dropped last week. Oh my God, people are losing their collective minds, and for good reason. This trailer has grabbed me and I've gone, it's going to put my bum back in a cinema seat. I want to watch Ryan Reynolds as Deadpool, Hugh Jackman as Wolverine. It looks good, and it's bringing the whole TVA into it, and multiverse.
I think people were really worried that now that Disney is owning it, is it going to be soft? And within the first 30 seconds, there was a joke about pegging. And then Ryan looked straight at the camera, you know, pretty much to say, hey, it's not been watered down.
It's breaking some walls, this trailer. This movie's going to be doing the same.
Yep.
I'm excited, James. This is the first Marvel thing in a while that I've gone, I'm really looking forward to this. What about yourself?
I really like the fact that they've pretty much gone like this, just grabbed ideas and stuff from everywhere to bring into it. And I'm hearing whispers that Gambit might be in it.
Yeah, I've heard the same thing.
And that it's
there is a shot.
Tatum.
There's a shot in the trailer where the camera kind of walks through a door, and there's a bunch of people sitting around a table. And the person, the camera, as it's coming through the door, the person that you're directly looking at is wearing like a white suit jacket, and the hair makes
it's obviously Wolverine.
Well, they're thinking Patch.
Yeah.
An alternate Now, this is where they could bring in a new actor to play Wolverine and have them in other movies. And there is rumblings that it could be Daniel Radcliffe. And this could be the stepping stone then to launch his version of him playing Wolverine.
You reckon?
Yeah, potentially. Where there's talk, I didn't see it, my wife reckons it's in the trailer. There's shots on the screen or something. The Fantastic Car's there.
Oh shit!
Right? Now, when Deadpool's lying on the ground...
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
There's a comic over to one side of it.
Yes, which is the... Yep.
Secret Wars, issue 4, I think it is. The big bad in that is Doctor Doom. People going, this is the introduction where we'll see Doctor Doom brought in. Now, they've just, in the last week, they've also cast Fantastic Four. Yeah. What an interesting cast it is too.
We can show you the shot of the Fantastic Four.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, look at that. I love this poster. I love the way they've actually done this poster. It looks really, really good.
And it gives you the idea that maybe they're going to be doing it as a 60s era movie.
That is what I have heard. That apparently we are looking at it's going to be based in the 60s.
Pedro Pascal. Vanessa Kirby.
Yep.
Joseph Quinn.
Now, Joseph Quinn was the guy who played Eddie in Stranger Things.
Right.
Yeah. So, and have you watched Stranger Things?
I've watched a couple episodes.
Did you enjoy it?
I enjoyed it. I don't know why I didn't end up watching more of it, but...
Well, my wife was cook last year. Now, I'd only ever watched the first 2 episodes, a bit like you, right?
Yep.
And my darling girl, she didn't show a lot of interest because she doesn't do scary stuff.
Okay.
So, she got really crook last year with a bad flu and was stuck at home. She ended up binging...
Holy moly.
All of it, right? And so late last year, she says, do you want to watch Stranger Things? And I'm like, yeah, okay. Well, do you want to rewatch it? She's like, yeah, I'll rewatch it. Holy hell, I was hooked.
Yeah?
We binged the whole lot, right? We're right up to date, and I loved it. I absolutely just fell in love with Stranger Things. It was so goddamn good. And Eddie, that guy there, the actor you said,
yep.
When he came into it, at first I was like, who's this idiot? I grew to love Eddie. And I'm not going to ruin it for anyone, but something happens to Eddie.
Oh, well, hang on. Whoa.
I might be a little bit heartbroken.
Ixnay on the... Hang on.
I didn't say what happened to him. I just said something may have happened to him. So Sean's just asking, are we seeing any of his comments coming through? Yes, we are.
We're just trying to fire them up at the moment.
Wade's trying to get the thing going where he can shoot them on there. Sean has said, if you've seen Poor Things, you know that Disney can do adult movies. I haven't seen Poor Things. Is it good, Sean? What's it about? Have you seen it?
Is that the one with Emma...
Emma Watson?
No. It's... Oh God, I've lost my mind.
Name another thing that person.
Easy A, Amazing Spider-Man.
Oh God.
Yeah. Holy moly, Emma
Stone.
Emma Stone. Is that the one with Emma Stone where they reckon she's going to win the Oscar?
Is really? I don't know. Sean, tell us below.
Is that it?
Rumours, Sean has said, there's a bunch of comments here I'm not seeing here.
Awesome, lots of Devil's Tango, Emma Stone.
Sean, is that code for something? Devil's Tango? Do we call it the horizontal Highland fling? Is that what we're saying here? We're trying to be nice tonight. I'm not trying to swear too much on the show tonight because this is going out to a wide audience tonight thanks to Kaboom.
Yes.
So I don't want to swear too much. Yes, Denny said Emma Stone.
Right.
Laura has said, not too keen on Pedro for Mr. Fantastic, but with the little emoji doing that. Look, oh, pardon me. I must agree. I like Pedro Pascal as an actor. Do I think this is the best casting for Mr. Fantastic? No. I think Pedro... Look, I mean, I'll go along, I'll watch it, I'll see what they do with it, but I don't think this was a good casting call for him.
And is he going to be upset that if they do something to his face and cover it up, is he going to be upset and say, hey,
they're not going to... He's not playing Doom. They're not covering up his...
Well, I'm just saying. And then all these comments this week that they're saying that Henry Cavill is going to be Dr. Doom. And you're like, really? No,
apparently...
Really?
They reckon Captain Britain.
But is that too on the nose?
Well, no, you've got a Brit playing Captain Britain, I think, and he's built
but you're like,
to play Braddock, you know?
You're like, well, he played Superman. Is he going to be... Yeah. Is he now playing just another Superman-ish character?
My wife is at home right now throwing something at the TV when you're saying that, okay? Because I know how my wife thinks about...
I heard someone say, would they cast him as Cyclops in X-Men?
No.
And they went, well, hang on, we've already seen red stuff come out of his eyes.
Yeah, well, that's true. He's done the laser vision as Superman. Matthew said if he can play an introverted character like Mando really well, then I think Pedro Pascal can nail Reed Richards. Good point, Matthew. I'm just not 100% happy with that casting. That's just me.
Yeah, I
love Vanessa Kirby as Sue Storm.
Yeah, she's got the look.
Do you know how many people, though, I've said, Vanessa Kirby, and they're like, who's she again? I went... Princess Margaret in The Crown. I get looks when I say that. People going, you watched The Crown? Yes, I watched The Crown and I love it. She's also... Is
this the Geek Speak Royal edition at the moment?
We should have done that. But no, I also like her in the last 2 Mission Impossible movies. She plays a
European arms dealer. She's in that too, yeah.
Hobbs and Shaw. She was in Hobbs and Shaw.
Oh, was she?
Yeah.
Ah.
I like her. I think she's a really good actress.
Okay, cool.
And there's a nice little thing there. I mean, you think about it, she's not related to Jack Kirby, but Jack Kirby helped create the Fantastic Four, and now there's a Kirby playing Sue Storm in it. I think that's just a nice little thing of the universe.
Is that the only reason she got the role? Because of her surname?
No.
And she's got blonde hair?
No, nepotism at work. No, it's not. She's not related to Jack Kirby, I believe. Matthew... Oh, Nate. G'day, Nate. He said Mads for Doom. Really? Mads Mikkelsen?
I could see that.
Yeah.
I could see that.
Yeah. Actually, side note, I watched a little interesting video last night about how we're totally mispronouncing a lot of actors' names, right? Mm-hmm. Jake, we always say Jake and Maggie Gyllenhaal. Do you know it's nothing like Gyllenhaal? It's actually, he said the only time it's ever been pronounced correctly is in Sweden and also at IKEA. And it's actually Gyllenhaal or something like that. That's the pronunciation of what we say is Gyllenhaal.
Okay.
Denzel is not Denzel, it's Denzel. He was named after his father, but it used to get confusing. So his mum started just calling him Denzel instead of Denzel. Yeah. So, and Mads is not Mads, it's Mars Mikkelsen. So the D isn't actually, yeah. So we've been pronouncing it wrong the whole time.
Well, hey, there you go. What's the pronunciation of Derezatron? G'day, Scott, watching on YouTube. Hey, dude, thanks for watching on YouTube. Yes, we're going both on YouTube and Facebook at the same time. We like to do it both.
Have you got Nate's comment there? Bring that up if you can. Nate, this is the problem. Nate is a fantastic customer of Kaboom, and his cousin Joel, who's a ginger like you, is also a fantastic customer.
It's not coming up. Where's he watching it? He's watching it on...
I don't know.
On the Kaboom Kaboom page?
Are you watching on Kaboom or on... that's probably where some of the comments are coming up. It's streaming via there. We don't have a link in for it. But anyway, Nate, he gives a lot of crap to his cousin Joel, another ginger, and he said, this is Nate's comment, he said, hey mate, Wade has too much ginger in his beard. You're lucky the lighting, because it's actually very white.
It's very grey.
It's grey.
We're using yellow-orange lights to try
make it look less white. But I do agree, he's pretty ginger.
Sorry.
It's good to see that you're tuning in. Brett's tuning in. Hello there, Brett.
Hey, dude.
Brett will be celebrating, because Brett was my first employee at Kaboom Comics. And he started work for me only like about, 2 months after we opened. So, yeah, Brett's been with us a long time. So what?
You're making it sound really old.
Well, it is. 20 years is a long time. A long, long time.
And you sure you've not planned anything?
No, we haven't.
You're not doing anything for the Friday?
No, not that I know of. I'll be having a scotch to celebrate. And I'm hoping people come and support their local comic book store. Like I said earlier, I'm going to talk about comic book stores in Australia are suffering a little bit at the moment.
Yep. So
in the last month alone, we've lost 2 physical locations in Queensland, Mackay and Harvey Bay. The shops up there that dealt in comics and pop culture stuff have shut their doors and have gone online only. A store in Adelaide has not closed down, but has had to move and scale back to like a third of their space to stay viable. A shop in Western Australia has ditched New Comics. And has gone, we're not going to get any new comics in. That, to be honest with you...
That's upsetting.
No, that's the death knell for a comic shop. You must have new release books coming in and stuff like that.
Yes.
And so those guys, I hate to say it, but I think their days are numbered, their years. Because there's other shops around Australia have done that in the last 2 years, and all those shops have ended up shutting their locations. There's another shop in Melbourne. But
you're right there? Is it anthrax?
It probably is. There's a chest burster about to come out. A shop in Melbourne have just announced the same thing. They're going to appointment only. They're moving. They're already in an industrial, them kind of industrial units.
Yeah.
And it looked kind of cool. Like they had a lot of space and stuff. But they're going from that to literally a storage space off-site somewhere else.
Far out.
And they've said it'll be online and by appointment only. So that's just in the last month. So comic shops are suffering. Like all shops are suffering. All small businesses in Australia are suffering at the moment. It's the cost of living crisis, everything else. It's not cheap to get stuff in from the US, and so freight prices have gone up. So of course people are charging a bit more for comics and movies and stuff like that nowadays. We've got one of our customers there watching tonight, Sean. He's had to buy a lot of stuff lately online from overseas for Blu-rays because you can't get them in Australia anymore.
Apparently Sean's watching us on 1045A.
Oh, that's a blast from the past.
Matthew, sorry, you were going
I'd
to
say
say.
if you're a Toowoomba local, an old Toowoomba local, you'll get that.
Matthew said, I do remember back when Kaboom was in the little alleyway near Ruthven before it moved to where it is now.
Yeah, Matthew, it was literally 2012 we moved into this new location around here. It was after the floods in 2011.
Wow.
Which we survived quite well. We were pretty fortunate, pretty lucky. And then our building owner said, come around on the main street, it won't flood. This new one, this new location.
Trust us.
And it was
And then it did flood.
No, we had water in, but we never...
But yes, it flooded outside, but it never quite got...
No, because we're actually... the front of our shop slopes a little bit, so the door, so it can't... It takes a lot of water to come up.
Just a little bit?
So we moved around here in 2012, and but before that, starting in 2004, and we're only... Like, the photos... We're going to do some old photos up on the Kaboom Facebook page in the next couple of weeks.
Yep.
And it's, I'll be honest, right? Getting them ready, and you shared a couple of albums to us the other day.
Yes.
Looking back at some of the photos of customers, a lot of them are still current customers of mine.
Yep.
Some of them have sadly moved away and stuff like that.
I thought you were going to say died. I'm like, what? Don't say that.
I think there's potentially one of those customers in one of the photos I think sadly did pass on. But it was very nostalgic, and it was quite good to sit and look at the old shop and what we achieved with that, to be able to come around onto the main street and grow the business. And
there was a couple of photos there of us painting, and Brett said, I remember painting the old shop.
Yes, yeah.
Holy moly. The orange.
We had some good nights. Well, that was the second, because essentially we started out as half that shop around there.
Yes.
And then we expanded into a second half. And that was still, like, I look at it back then thinking, oh, this is a lot of space. And now I look and go, that was tiny.
But compared to what you've got now.
Oh, yeah, and even this, compared to other comic shops around Australia, this is still a small shop.
Yes.
But we are a regional store. But we're going back to what I was saying, businesses are suffering at the moment, so we're saying shop local where you can, support your local comic shops, your local record stores, your local movie shops, anything like that, cafes, all that kind of cool stuff. And I really want to see on the 20th, on the 20th anniversary, on the 1st of March, I'd love to see all our local customers come on down, say g'day, buy
during the
something.
day sometime?
Yeah, just come on down. I want to see on the anniversary of Kaboom. I'd love to see people come in and say g'day. We've got customers now who are literally babes in arms.
Yes.
Who are now like 19. One customer the other day turned 20 and it was like, holy, like you're as old as the shop. And yeah, so it's fantastic. We've seen people grow up through here.
Yeah.
That's my little bit of nostalgia.
We're so old.
We are old.
We are so old.
But yeah, Brett, I do remember painting the old shop. And I remember Brett getting stuck. We said we'd go and grab tea. And we were out for a good hour, and the poor bugger was stuck up on a ledge inside the top window. He painted that bit and couldn't get back down until we got back to the ladder.
Did someone move the ladder?
I think you moved the ladder.
Oh, shit, sorry.
Sorry, after all these years, he's finally said, sorry, Brett, for moving the ladder on you.
Sorry.
Yeah, that was. I still have people walk in here today, and they go, I miss the orange and black. Because it was. I remember when we first painted it, it was like we opened... okay, we're going to go down the reminiscing thing. We opened the shop and it was plain cream walls, right?
Yes.
I moved in, I didn't paint it, and it was about, I don't know, what, 6 months down the track?
Probably.
You helped me paint the original side of it.
And I remember everyone said to you, no, this is a terrible idea.
The colour was called burnt orange. That was the colour, right? And I went, yeah, that's the colour I want. It's bright orange and black trimmings. And every person said, you're mad, don't do it, it's going to look horrible. I think you were the only one who went, yeah, it'll probably be all right, I'll give you a hand. You helped me paint it, and we stood back and went, man, that looks... And now I still have people, this is 20 years later, coming and going, I miss the orange and black. Because the newer shop is blue and red and stuff like that. But yeah, we went away from the black. And I want to bring it back some days.
Steve said, I've grown out since Kaboom opened. I think we all have,
Steve.
We all have.
There's a photo, Steve, that's going up next week as part of our retrospective that shows a very young Steve. And Paul, is Paul watching tonight? If Paul's there.
Yeah, Paul, you should be watching on your big screen.
Paul looks so young in one of the photos.
Yes.
He looked really, really young.
I started at 14 at Kaboom, and now I'm 34. Kaboom is family.
Who said that?
Derezatron.
Really? I'm glad that you feel family, because you are family to us then. As I said, there's so many people that I've formed great friendships with. I met my wife through Kaboom.
Matthew asked, are you planning any sales as part of the Hang on.
We are in talks about that, Matthew. Yeah, I don't know what it won't be 20% off. The economy's too tough to do 20% off for the 20th anniversary, but we'll see what happens.
Nate said, out of all of the announcements this week, X-Men 97 got me the most excited. Yes. Yeah. It's the sequel to the old X-Men animated series.
It looks good, and it's done in that similar style, by the way.
And it sounds exactly like the same old voiceover artist as well, in the same style.
You're excited?
I'm excited.
I'm gonna watch it.
I did see one video on YouTube this week where they went, what did they do the Rogue though?
Oh, they've taken away some of the curves.
For
a modern audience, they've taken away. It was the 90s, everything was curvy. Yeah. Cheesecake, remember that? Cheesecake.
Glenn says, sup, legends?
Hello,
hey, dude.
Glenn.
Thanks for tuning in, man.
Andrew's watching, Loey as well. G'day, how are you? I like what Steve said, 20 cents off. Steve, you sure you're not Scottish? Because you sound very Scottish like me.
Scott is Resitron.
Oh, hello, Scott.
Hey,
now
dude.
it makes sense. Yes. Yeah, you were young when you first came in. And we corrupted you, Scott. And look at you now. You're a die-hard comics fan.
Steve Wilson says he reckons it's going to be 20 cents off.
Ooh.
That sounds like a good sale.
Pretty Scottish. I would do that.
Matt said, if X-Men 97 is successful, they should do Spider-Man 98.
And this is the thing, it depends on people watching it, supporting it. At the moment, if the studios see support for these things and they take off, then they'll keep doing stuff. They'll expand it. The problem is, especially with Marvel at the moment, people aren't watching. When Marvel Studios and with the Disney Plus stuff and the first shows were coming out, people would come in and you had to be careful in store because people would go, have you watched it?
Spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert. Or we'd wait until that customer leaves, then we'll talk about it.
Yep.
Everyone wanted to catch up. Everyone was watching it week to week, and we've got customers now who have not watched the last handful of Marvel shows. They haven't watched the last handful of Star Wars stuff. They've just got burnt out, right? So they're like, I don't feel like watching. I don't need to watch it. And the problem is that then flows onto the studios. They go, we're not seeing a return on investment. We're going to do less. Bob Iger came out last year and said Marvel and Lucasfilm have got to make less product and on smaller budgets.
They need to slow things down because, well, obviously, Madam Web is
You've got it. You've picked up my dreaded cough.
The thing happened is that Fox were doing 4 movies at the same time.
Ridiculous.
And yet, the guys that wrote, Madam Web were the guys that wrote Morbius. Although some people may enjoy Morbius,
I did. I did.
The problem was that it wasn't that overall that everyone loved it. No. So all of a sudden they're picking people as a 4th choice because they're doing so many at the same time.
Yeah, it copped so much flack, Morbius, and we watched it, the wife and I, and it got to them and went, that reminded me of the old school late 90s, early 2000s superhero comic book movie. And I went, I missed that. And I enjoyed it. The bits with Michael Keaton at the end, there's the Vulture and the Sinister Six and everything. I'm like, cool, loved it.
I think one big thing about Fox's version of the Spider-Verse is that they're trying to confuse the general public that they are Marvel. The fact that they had Michael Keaton in the Morbius trailer, like 90% of the trailer was Michael Keaton, and you thought, well, shit, he's got to be in the entire movie, and yet he was only in this little bit.
I know.
So I think the problem is that they're confusing people into thinking.
It was the old bait and switch.
It was.
Yeah.
It was.
Yeah, and we fell for it, hook, line, and sinker. But people are waking up to it, and that's what I'm saying. If you want to get more of this stuff, you've got to support it. You're going to have to watch it, and hopefully now we're going to start seeing some better content coming out.
Yeah.
Like I'm really with Deadpool. What else? Like James Gunn. I'm actually pumped to see Superman Legacy when it comes out 2025, right? Mm-hmm. There is rumblings, by the way, about, the guy Alan Richardson plays Jack Reacher in the Reacher TV series, right?
Someone asked him this week, hey, Batman, and he went...
He reckons he could play it. I watched the first episode of Reacher Season 2 the other night, and I turned to my wife and I went, you know what? I'm there. I'm all over it. He plays Batman Bruce Wayne. I'm there. I'll watch that.
I'm a bit on on the fence about it because yes, he can play Batman and he's got the physicality to play Batman, but I don't know if he can pull off Bruce Wayne.
I think he could. Can you put a poll up? Can we do a poll?
For a start, he needs to talk like me. Yeah. All of a sudden, he needs to come to Kaboom.
And come to Kaboom and pick up a cough for the night.
Chris said, howdy, gents. G'day, Chris.
Ryan, g'day, Ryan. Okay, right. So we are going to do a poll. Hopefully, if Ginger can work it,
all right.
And we're going to put it up.
Let's fire up the poll.
Do you see Alan Richardson playing Batman? Yes or no? That'll be the poll. Ginger's going to work on that in the meantime. I am going to have a quick chat about some other comic book stuff.
Alan Richardson.
Yeah, you got to spell it right.
With a D?
Hey?
Richardson?
I think it is, yeah. I'm going to have a chat about a new publishing initiative that we're taking pre-orders for now. Pre-orders shut off middle of next week. Ghost Machine, right? So it's some of your most popular writers and artists who have worked for DC and Marvel over the years have branched off. Jeff Johns, Brad Meltzer, Jason Fabok, Gary Frank, Brian Hitch, Francis Benapole. These guys have gone off and created their own shared universe that's being published via Image Comics, right? And the first comic, so remember a couple of years ago, Jeff Johns launched Geiger.
Okay.
Right? So Geiger's part of it, but there's a comic called Redcoat, which is about like an immortal bloke from, with the old British Redcoat who survives through history.
Yep.
Rook. Jason Fabok's doing Rook, and it's a bit of a post-apocalyptic type thing. We've got the Rocket Fellas, which is what Francis Benapole's doing. Now, this is just some of the initial books that they're going to be doing through Ghost Machine. As I said, it's an imprint through Image. They did a teaser, like a zero issue that kind of launched the universe a little bit.
Yeah.
Set things up, and look, don't get me wrong. It was cool. It didn't give an awful lot away. So some people are like, I was hoping for more. I'm like, yeah, but you've got to wait. They're going to do this in their own books. They're not going to give too much away in a zero issue. And look, it did sell out really quick here. Mm-hmm. We're trying to get more copies back in, but it sold pretty quick. But we are taking pre-orders for Rook, Redcoat and Geiger at the moment.
Okay, cool.
These new ones launching through Image Comics, Ghost Machine. Get onto your local comic shop if that's us or if someone else. Get on and say that you want to check them on out and put your pre-order in because I think they are going to be big. I think this is like a new era. These big megastar creators have gone, we're sick of working at DC and Marvel. We're sick of the way they're treating us as just, spitting crap out and getting paid horribly for it. We're going to go off and we're going to do our own stuff. This is like Image 2.0 a little bit. Mm-hmm. And some comic readers, old school comic readers, have said it really does have that feel. When people, like the McFarlanes and your Valentinos and your Larsons broke away and formed Image.
And I saw when they were doing the Comic-Con, just the artwork that they had, and even just the logo of the publishing logo. Yeah. It looks so cool.
Yeah, I thought it looked fantastic.
What you giving me, buddy? COVID? What the hell,
man? It's just you're awed by my presence. That's what it is.
So far, 5 people have voted that Alan should be the next Batman.
Really? You got some more comments there to pop up?
The problem is that stuff that is said on this podcast tends to come true.
It's happened in the past. Affleck is Batman, and I predicted it for years, and I kept saying on our podcast years ago, and what happened? Affleck got cast as Batman. Other things have happened as well.
Steve Wilson said, Madam Web wasn't that bad. Could have just been a TV movie or series. Yes, I think it should have been a TV.
Haven't watched it yet, Steve.
A TV movie.
I'm going to watch it. I do like, what's her name?
Dakota Johnson.
I like her as an actress. So I will get around to watching it. G'day, Lyndon, who's watching as well. Now Jesse has said, have you got Jesse's comment there?
Hang on, we got heaps. Matthew said, there's an upcoming Punisher comic by Garth Ennis called Get Fury involving Frank and Nick Fury in the Vietnam War. If it sells well, then hopefully they'll
tell Marvel that their fans love Frank. We'd love to see Frank Castle back. The new Punisher book that they've brought out has been an absolute flop. Die-hard Punisher fans to steer clear of it because it wasn't Frank Castle in the role in the comics. So there you go. There's Jesse's comment. What's Jesse got?
You might have to read it.
The issue was there was way too much in such a short amount of time. I'd rather watch 1 or 2 decent shows each year than the several half-baked shows every couple of months. You nailed it, Jesse. That is exactly
They're just trying to do too much in such a short period of time.
But what it was this whole thing of, we've got Disney Plus. We've got to pump out all this content. We've got to keep people... So all these streaming services have a finite number of followers. People are either going to sign on or they're not, right? And this thing of constant growth. We've got to get more subscribers, so we're going to pump more. They've now learnt and gone, that doesn't work. And they were pumping way too much out to where you overwhelm the fan base. You get, well, we call it superhero saturation, right?
Yes.
But it happened with Star Wars as well, where people are just like, nothing new is wowing me because I've seen it all before. This is just a derivative, a variation of the same old thing we saw from Marvel 2 years ago, whatever else. That, I think they finally learnt their lesson, and, you know, Bob Iger said, less product with less budget, you know, because they were spending...
And a bit more care.
What the hell did She-Hulk spend for the budget? It was some phenomenal amount of money for She-Hulk.
And I think for Fox is like the Into the Spider-Verse, the animated movies are incredible. They're spending so much attention on that, and yet the live action, they're just sort of pumping out willy-nilly.
Yeah, Sony's kind of stuffed that up, I will admit. But look, that Into the Spider-Verse and the original, the first one, amazing. My wife still hasn't watched it. Danny, we're going to have to watch that because I've been holding out watching the second one till Danny caught up so we could watch it together. So, honey, you got to watch that first Spider-Verse movie, the animated one. It was fantastic.
Jake's watching. Hey, man. He also says Ghost Machine is giving early Valiant mixed with Image vibes. Yeah.
Ooh, yeah, it is actually, yes. Like I said, we've got some really excited customers here. Our numbers for it have been very strong. But I have a feeling it's that, you know, look, getting comics into Australia or anywhere at the moment is a lot harder than it was a couple of years ago, right? Post-COVID, the shipping's changed. We've got multiple distributors now. Before COVID, we had one major distributor, Diamond Comics, right?
Yep.
We've now got multiple distributors, and it keeps chopping and changing every time. And not just for the comics, but for the ancillary stuff, gaming and stuff. Here's a bit of inside baseball. There is so much more work to do now to place orders for our customers than there ever was. Okay. I spend so much more time a month collating data, splitting it out into which goes where, who gets ordered through this and that and the other thing. All right, it's so much harder, and things do slip by. So, which is why we're saying to people, make sure you pre-order stuff. If you hear or you see us do a post up and say about a book coming out soon or whatever else, jump on it, pre-order it, because you're not guaranteed that you'll, you know, the week of release anymore, that you'll go, oh, my local comic shop will have plenty of it. No, they probably won't. We saw it with Ultimate Spider-Man recently.
Wow.
I was fielding calls from Perth, Adelaide, Melbourne, Sydney. The shop phone didn't stop ringing, and it was people. And we sold our last handful of copies all to out of town buyers. Okay. It was all via the online store. And then I said for a week after, the phone kept ringing hot, and it was people going, "Have you got any hidden away?" I'm like, "If we did, they'd be on the website. We're not one of the shops
we're not trying to jack up the price."
No, and we sold out of the couple of variants that we had at the time and stuff. They just flew out and people wanted them. The people were like, "I need this book." They didn't pre-order it. So they missed it. A lot of comic shops ran out really quick. There's a second printing, and it's already pre-sold out.
Far out,
everywhere.
Man.
So that's what we're saying. Pre-order your books at your local comic shop so you don't miss out.
Matthew says, I'm all for comic creator-owned comics. Image does more for independent comic creators than Marvel or DC ever did, yeah.
Yep, I like that. That's true. You got the one there from Andy J. There's a comment down there, if you can bring that one up. What do you think of Samuel L. Jackson wanting to return to Star Wars as Mace Windu? Do you think Disney will make that happen? If Disney was smart, yes, they would. They're actually pumping. There's a Mace Windu comic that's just launched through Marvel Comics at the moment too. That's just a solo Mace Windu comic. There's fans there. I think if he says he wants to return and do...
If he wants to do some sort of prequel to the prequel, yeah.
Bring him on. There's money to be made. Like, lean into what the fans want. You know what I mean? Like, but do it properly. Don't oversaturate it. But the fans know what they want. The fans are telling them, and half the time it seems like these companies and the directors or whatever else just ignore the fans. Does it feel like that to you?
Yeah, it's
Did you see that clip the other day of a heap of directors on Marvel projects in the last couple of years where they've done interviews, and this person went through and cut together and took the clip, the sound bites out, where every single one of them was asked about like the comics or the source material, and every single one of them, I'd never read the comics.
We were told to stay away. Don't know.
Yep.
Best not to even look at that.
And it gets to the end of it, goes, and there's your problem. Yeah. And it's so true. Like these people who are making the live action adaptations of our favourite pop culture heroes or heroines, you know, they haven't read the comics. They've been told not to by the studios. Oh, don't worry about that. Don't listen to the fans. That's bad juju.
Although the only thing that I was thinking is that people, like the guys that wrote Madam Web, if they had taken a story from the comics, they just would have done a balls up job of it anyway. So even saying, hey, they should have done this storyline, it was good.
Oh, we're just looking at the poll.
Yeah.
Alan Richardson, for Batman, yes or no?
88% yes, 13 no.
Well, yeah. I think this is a clear win for Alan
Yes,
Richardson.
and I'm sorry, I didn't spell his name right. There's a T in it, sorry.
Should we... Do you want to pop that up, show the results to that? Can we do that?
There we go.
So hopefully that did pop up there. I hope so. Anyway, if it didn't, bad luck. But we just told you the results. Should we do another poll though? Right. Okay. Close the results on that one.
All right.
Let's create another poll.
Let's create another one.
And this is where you got to use your brain to spell Jensen Ackles.
Oh.
Right. Should Jensen Ackles be cast as Bruce Wayne Batman? And could you see Jensen Ackles playing Bruce Batman? My wife is squeeing at home right now. She's like, she loves Jensen Ackles, right? And I'll be honest, I like Jensen Ackles a lot too because he is part of a band called The Radio Company. Have you ever heard any of their music?
No.
He can sing. They've got about 3 albums out at the moment. My wife put me onto him a couple of months ago. Oh my God, Jensen Ackles is a talented musician as well as a good actor. So I'm a little bit leaning to it. I like Alan Richardson a hell of a lot, but if they said Jensen Ackles is cast as Batman, I'd be happy with that as well. So there you go. Have you managed to put that up?
Hang on.
Is it not allowing you?
I am just about to activate the poll.
Oh, okay, there it is. The poll is up. Tell us what you think Jensen Ackles is, and we'll see whether it gets a better ratio or something like that. Okay, Ryan has said, apparently they've said no to Obi-Wan Season 2, so there's probably... Oh, hello. It's just bumped me off the comments. So there's probably room in the slate. Couldn't see it happening with Windu before 26, 27, and Samuel Jackson is heading towards 80. Is he that old? Ryan, is he? Is he that old, Ginge?
I guess so.
Holy hell. Yeah, it's probably too old to be playing Mace Windu.
Well, in his prime at least, which is where you need him to be.
Yeah.
Sean just said Andor was amazing, and I think that's because the creator isn't a Star Wars fan. Really?
Yeah, but Sean, on the odd project that works, but when, like, if you watch that clip of all these people, or the whole recent slate of Marvel stuff, where not a single one of them had read the comics, that is the pure source material. The best adaptations of a lot of comic book stuff was where they almost shot it, panel for scene kind of thing. Look at Zack Snyder's Watchmen. Look at 300 for prime example. Sin City. They were amazing adaptations of the comics that worked really well, and they were really faithful to the source material. Do you agree?
I'm just shocked because I'm seeing the progression of the Jensen Ackles.
Oh my God! 75% said no to Jensen Ackles as Batman. What is wrong with you people? I'm going to go and cry in the corner later. What's wrong with Jensen Ackles?
Sam reckons Jensen Ackles was perfect in Long Halloween.
He voiced him, didn't he? He's voiced Batman a few times. He's voiced, I think he's voiced Jason Todd as well, Red Hood, in a couple of animated things.
He did that cosplay of him a while ago.
Yeah.
And he looked incredible.
He's a big geek.
He's cosplayed as Batman as well.
Seriously, Radio Company. Do yourself a favour if you've got Apple Music or something like that, or even YouTube. Go to YouTube. I'm sure they're on there. Radio Company. It's Jensen Ackles, and I can't think who the other fella is, but it's really bloody good.
That's cool.
It's got their first couple of albums are very, that kind of bluesy rock.
Okay.
Yeah. My wife doesn't like their third album because they recorded it in Nashville, and it is a bit twangy country.
Twang.
So she doesn't like it. I love it a lot, but she doesn't dig it as much as me. That one.
Reese said Jensen would be better as Jason Todd.
Oh look, okay. Alan Richardson as Bruce Wayne, Batman. Put Jensen Ackles in there as either Nightwing or Jason Todd. Yeah. I always said Zac Efron for Nightwing because he was reasonably acrobatic. He was kind of funny. Zac Efron. What are you giggling at?
Look at Ryan's comment.
He should play the Robin that gets beaten to death. Ryan, that's harsh. Why do people not love him as much as me? What is wrong with you people?
Andy's just commented, Disney Plus introduced What If series of Marvel with different timelines and scenarios involving Universe of Marvel. But what if... what I'm waiting for, you might have to finish it, man.
Is for the What If series involving the Star Wars universe. Now, how cool would that be? And there's no reason they couldn't do it.
Wasn't that what we just saw on Netflix?
Have a drink.
Is that what we just saw with Netflix and Snyder?
Well, with Rebel Moon.
Yeah.
I didn't watch it. My wife did. Did you?
I enjoyed it. I got out of it what I wanted to get out of it.
You were quite impressed by it?
Yeah.
Yeah? But did it feel like a Star Wars ripoff?
It was... Yeah.
Yeah, okay, just be honest. Yeah, it did. It felt like a ripoff.
It was like, okay, we don't have lightsabers, but we've got this, which is exactly the same as lightsabers. We just won't call them that.
Reese is trolling. Bring up his thing.
Batman?
Yeah, that one there goes. Now, Reese said Batman should be played by someone physically imposing like The Rock. The Rock is not Batman. He's already played Black Adam. Reese, stop trolling.
And apparently he did it badly.
What?
I'm just saying.
I enjoyed that movie.
People said, if people enjoyed it.
I enjoyed it. I mean, it had problems, but I loved, what's his name? Bond?
Oh,
Pierce Brosnan.
Pierce Brosnan.
Oh, God. So we've caught the dreaded loogie, and it's infected our brains.
Steve Wilson said he needs to watch Rebel Moon. Yeah, you do, man. Yeah, you do.
Oh, so Wilson, I thought you would have been all over that. You watch everything.
Danny said it was fine until the lightsaber rip-off in Rebel Moon. Yeah.
That's it. I didn't watch it, but you two have. So.
Look, I got out of it what I wanted to get out of it, yeah.
Sometimes a good bootleg rip-off is all right.
Well, Steve Wilson said the sequels were a rip-off of the original trilogy. The prequels were.
Yeah, it's true.
Ryan, is he trolling as well? Tom Hiddleston could do Batman now that he's done with Marvel?
No, he's not physically imposing. Bond, I could see him playing Bond, James Bond, but he'd be a very witty, rely more on the gadgets kind of Bond than Daniel Craig, who was more brawn and beating the hell out of people. But I could easily see Tom Hiddleston as Bond. Reese said Pierce Brosnan stole the show as Dr. Fate. Yeah, he did. I loved him as Dr. Fate. And old mate from Leverage, who played Hawkman, I thought he was fantastic in the role.
He also said Hiddleston would be an amazing Riddler. Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah, there's a casting.
We've seen him in Green.
Yeah, I could see that. That'd be really good. What did Brett say?
We used to get the question, who should play Superman at the shop? Remember?
There was one bloke. Every time he came in, he would always ask, who do you think should play Superman? And it was just the most repetitive question. This went on for a couple of years. And it was this thing. I don't know what was... But anyway, Brett and I got to the stage where we used to literally just pull something weird out. We'd go, you know what? Denzel Washington can play a really good Superman.
You know what? Hulk Hogan.
We just pull this out, and then he eventually stopped asking because he realised, he went, no, you couldn't have Denzel Washington. We'd act serious. Brett and I would go, Denzel Washington would be a great Superman. I'd love to see him, and old mate stopped asking.
With the little curl and everything, yeah.
Old mate stopped asking the question after that. He did.
Laura said we couldn't get through the first 10 minutes of Rebel Moon.
Oh, so I haven't watched it, but Danny and Ginger.
I enjoyed it.
What else we got there? Ryan saying about Jim Carrey?
Jim Carrey out of retirement to play Riddler again.
I only literally watched the clip last night where he talked about being cast in the role and going out to dinner at a restaurant, and the mate of D said, Tommy Lee Jones is just down the back there, and haven't you both? And he goes, yeah, I'll go and say hello to him. And he said, I walked over and I said, hey, Tommy, how are you? He said, in the blood, you could see the blood drain from his face. And he got up all shaky from the table and he comes over and he put his arm around me and kind of steered me away from the other people at the table. And he whispered in my ear, he said, with pure venom, he goes, I hate you and I cannot condone your buffoonery. Patted me on the back and sent me off. And he said, that was right before we were meant to shoot, like the next day or so, one of our biggest scenes together for Batman Forever. And he said, yeah, Tommy Lee Jones just absolutely detests him. And he made no bones about it, yeah. And he still laughs about it to this day, Jim Carrey, yeah, and reenacts it, yeah.
And Nate said, you should have said to old mate Dean Cain every time he'd come into the store. No, Dean Cain should totally do it again. Totally do it again.
Nate, if I had a time machine, I'd go back and use that.
Clint Eastwood.
Get the time machine ready, Ginge.
Clint Eastwood.
Yeah, Clint Eastwood, actually, no.
Remember back in the day, Clint Eastwood was in... Well, everyone wanted him to be the Dark Knight Returns. Yeah, they did. Yeah, back in the day. Remember when Wizard used to do their casting section with Wizard? Yeah. I'm doing this. I don't know why. It's a magazine. You did a magazine.
Back in my day.
You gotta lick your finger.
I still remember back when we opened Kaboom for quite a few years. Yeah. We used to still sell Wizard magazine. We still
I love that magazine.
I miss it greatly.
There's a YouTube series where it's guys actually got the camera with the magazine, they flick through it.
Kayfabe. Yeah.
Every episode, issue of the...
Steve would be commenting there somewhere. Steve used to watch some of those. He put me on to Cartoonist Kayfabe.
Cool.
Steve mentioned the two guys. I know one of them's Ed Piscor. Who's the other guy? I've had a blank. Steve, help me out in the comments. Jim Zub? No, not Jim Zub, is it? Anyway, he'll tell me, I'm sure of it.
Ryan loves Wizard.
Yes.
Does he? Is that
what's that emoji there?
Emoji with a...
Yeah, it's the... Yeah.
Jim Rugg.
Jim Rugg. Thank you. Yeah. I said Jim Zub. That's a different writer. Sorry about that. Actually, Jim Zub wrote, can you see that there?
Yeah.
Here's a spotlight. This just came out this week. Where's the best place to put that? That is the new volume. Titan Comics have got the rights back to Conan off Marvel. How Marvel stuffed that up is beyond me. But anyway, Titan got the rights. Titan's now publishing Conan, and like the artwork is phenomenal. It looks like the old 70s Sal Buscema style artwork. Mm-hmm. And Conan fans are going absolutely nuts. The cover is not. That's I think that's Stanley Artgerm Lau doing the cover on this particular edition. The artwork inside, if you can see that, is phenomenal. First volume here. Can I show that? Can I get closer to the camera with that? Tell me if that's. Can you see that?
Keep going. Can
you see that? That's a bit dark there, isn't it?
Come back a bit.
There.
Stop.
Hey, there you go. As I said, beautiful artwork, phenomenal. That just came out this week, and Jim Zub is the writer on that particular series over there. So I wanted to spotlight that. Can I also spotlight something else?
Sure.
Bugger, it's my shop, my show. We'll do what we want here at Geek Speak.
I'm going to have a breather while you do.
This was one of the, hands down, one of the best freaking series that DC wrote a couple of years ago. Or DC published a couple of years ago. DC didn't write it. Peter Tomasi with Pat Gleason on the art duties did a fantastic Batman and Robin series a few years ago. They have just brought out like you'd almost call it an essential, DC don't call them essential editions. I'm going to call this like an essential edition from Marvel. It's a nice thick, look at the size of that, can you see that? Edition, and this is volume 1 of Batman and Robin by Peter J. Tomasi and Pat Gleason. This is fantastic. We've got very limited stock of that, so if you want to shout yourself something cool, jump on the online store, www.kaboomcomicsaustralia.com, and snap a copy of that up. That is, if you're a Batman fan and you love a good Batman story, no one does it better than Peter Tomasi. He's a fantastic writer, and that there is worth picking up and adding to your collection.
Ryan said DC equivalent of the Epic Collection.
Yeah, it kind of is. They're doing what they call compendiums, which are like 2 times, 3 times as thick as that. So I'm reluctant to call this a compendium because it's not as thick as a compendium. They don't really have a name for this yet, but they are starting to collect more of these series in thick editions like this. And I love it. I think it's really good. As I said, I would liken it to, and I've got one here, a Marvel Epic Collection. So that's the Clone Saga, by the way, Epic Collection.
Oh shit, you've got...
Clone Saga, Epic Collection, The Amazing Spider-Man, where Ben Reilly became the new Spidey for a while. Remember he had the hoodie, the blue, like the sleeveless hoodie and everything else?
Like on the front cover?
On the front cover, can you see that there? Look at that. So that is what Marvel do as an Epic Collection, and if you have a look, they're pretty much the same size. Same thickness and everything else. That's why I kind of refer to it or call it like their Epic Collections.
Steve Wilson said it's a good size.
It is a good size. It's actually, you know what? The big compendiums, probably a little bit hard to read in bed because they're pretty weighty and they're pretty thick. This is still a good size to be able to lie back on the couch and read a good comic and enjoy it. Like I said, jump online, grab yourself a copy. If you're a fan of the Clone Saga, why not pick up a Epic Collection from Marvel Comics of the Clone Saga and get your 90s fix on. That was some fantastic storytelling back in the 90s.
While you're talking about those omnibuses, did you want to talk about the DC Marvel?
Oh, Ginge.
Holy moly.
I probably just hit my microphone. I'm really sorry.
What you're seeing now is the DC vs. Marvel omnibus.
Now, let me explain something. Bring us back to camera for a sec. Okay, people have been saying for years, what is going to happen? Will we ever see reprints of, the amalgam age of comics, the DC versus Marvel, where Superman would face off against, Captain America or whatever else? And for years we went, I don't like your chances. Now
they're not talking to each other. They're not on talking terms.
Then, sadly, when George Perez was close to death's door a year or so ago, and they got together and they actually, because of people in the publishing industry and retailers and fans saying, look, you should do a reprint of JLA versus Avengers. and the money should go to the Hero Initiative or something, and should go to George Perez, because he was battling with pancreatic cancer. And they actually did it. They published it, but it was so limited. Some shops you could put in an order and say, I want 6 copies.
Yep.
You may get 1, you may get none, right? So it was poorly done in that sense. It was very much like a lotto. It wasn't a fair way. They said, we're only printing, I don't know, let's say it was 1,000 copies to go worldwide. And you're like, that's fucking ridiculous. This book would sell, 20,000 copies. But and the demand was there, but people couldn't get the book. So that was the first time of them coming together and going, look, we can republish this. And everyone went, well,
maybe you should.
Maybe they could do some other stuff. And it just got announced about a week ago. And it's DC actually republishing them. Everyone thought, because there's 2 books, there's 2 omnibuses coming out. One is, and you've got it there, that's the DC versus Marvel, right? Now, that is going to have the Amalgam comics in it and that perfect stuff. Sorry, no, that's the Amalgam book there, sorry. Scrap the other cover, no, I'll talk about that one in a second. This one here is the Amalgam Age of Comics and also the DC versus Marvel team-up books. Not the team-up books, but there was a mini-series, right? That one is coming out. Now get this, it's about 1,000 pages. Bring us back to camera. It's about 1,000 pages. So it's a thick book. It's $150.
Holy moly!
It's $150 US, right? But it's hardcover. And if you've seen an omnibus, they're a little bit bigger than a normal trade and everything else. They're a beautiful book, but they are very weighty. You can't lie in bed; you will suffocate yourself.
Yeah, because when you fall asleep and it falls on top of you, you die.
You'll break a nose or something like that. But they are a beautiful format of book, but they are very expensive. So that book's coming out, and then the other cover is when you find it there. That cover is going to be the team-up books. Batman, Captain America, Green Lantern, Silver Surfer, Batman, Daredevil, Batman, Punisher. All those kind of books are going to be published in that beautiful hardcover there. Now, same thing. That is going to be $150 US, over, like a beautiful hardcover omnibus. This brings me back to my point I said earlier about pre-ordering your books. Retailers are not going to take a punt and order a ton of these when they're $150 US, right?
Yes,
it is literally going to be pre-order it. We may get 1 or 2 for shop. And they're already kind of saying, the internals from DC are like, we probably won't reprint this again.
Far out. This is it.
This will be it.
Okay.
And dependent upon sales, you've got to get in and order this. So some stores have already started putting up like really, really early previews pre-orders because this hasn't even hit the previews catalogue. It'll be next month's previews catalogue, I think.
Okay.
So some stores have jumped on it early and gone, we're taking pre-orders now. We're actually saying here at Kaboom Comics, I've been talking to a few customers as they've come in and I'm like, think about it. We are going to ask for deposits because most shops are going to do the same thing. They're going to say, look, pop a deposit on it or something like that. Just so people, like shops don't get left in the lurch holding 10 copies at $150 US and people haven't picked them up. So this is going to be... Matthew, yes, they will be open for pre-orders very soon. You can come down, talk to me one-on-one and we can set something up for you or message me or something like that, folks, and we'll do it. But we will put them live probably on our Facebook page and on our website early next month when it hits the actual previews catalogue. I'm getting one of these each for me. I don't even own, I own a pile of the team-up books. Mm-hmm. I do not own the Amalgam comics. I only ever got 1 or 2 issues here back in the day when they were coming out.
Single issues?
Yep, and I let them go, sadly, because I couldn't get the others at the time. I went, I'll sell these off, and I regret that. Hugely regret that. I have things like Batman, Spider-Man, I have Batman. One of my all-time favourites, I was talking to Jeff, who's watching, by the way. G'day, Jeff. About it last week, one of my all-time favourites was John Byrne's Batman Captain America. And it was based around that World War II era.
Okay, cool.
And it had Cap and Bucky
and
Batman and Robin. And the 2 villains were obviously the Joker and the Red Skull. And John Byrne nailed that book. It was absolutely perfect. The art, the writing, it is one of my all-time favourites. I highly recommend, if you've never read it, pick up one of these omnibuses and grab it. Now just remember, like I said, it's $150 US, so this thing's going to be It's going to be high 200s, close to $300, depending on the weight and everything else to get them into the country here. So factor that in. But I tell you what, it's a book you'll have in your collection to come back and reread years for years and years and years.
Sean said, I have nearly all the singles and I'm tempted to get them.
Yeah, there you go. You lucky bugger. Have you got all the Malcolm comics, Sean? Because I tell you what, mate, they are worth a little bit of an arm and a leg nowadays.
Brett said Iron Lantern was cool.
Ooh.
Do you remember
Dark Claw, Wolverine and Batman together? Dark Claw.
Do you remember when they came out and someone that we know was calling the comic Amaglam?
Shut up, Ginge.
Amaglam.
I don't know who you're talking about, and they were in high school, and both those people that you're talking about probably failed English. And we're not going to name names, but we were talking earlier about celebrating 20 years of Kaboom. Guess what you and I are celebrating this year?
Oh, Jesus, don't be telling people this.
Guess what we're celebrating this year?
I don't know.
You and I have been reading superhero comics this year for 30 years. 1994 was when we first got into reading Batman comics, and you started it. You bought one.
I'm sorry, man.
He started
all this is my fault.
He bought one to school, and he goes, I bought this out of the news agency yesterday. It was really good. Read it. I went, oh, righto.
You're like, comic books?
Yeah, I'd only ever read things like Richie Rich and Ren and Stimpy that I used to steal them off my brother.
And it was the very last issue of Nightfall.
Yeah. So I went that afternoon, because I went, that was really good. And on the way home, I said to Mum, went to do some shopping. I said, can I go into the news agency and buy some comics? Mum's like, if you're reading anything, that's really good. I love that you read a lot. And she goes, yep, here's some money. Go buy a couple of comics. And so I bought the one that you bought. I got my own copy, and I bought another one after that. It was
the issue before, yeah.
And I came to school the next day, and I was like, you read this one now.
Yep.
That is how it started. 1994, we were in grade 8 at school, and that is 30 years ago this year, Ginge.
No way.
So we're celebrating our 30th year of being superhero comic book readers. There you go. Anyone else out there can tell us? Here you go. Scott said, I started in 93, 94 as well. Well, look, I'd read comics prior. My mum had bought... this is back in the 80s when Archie was doing the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Okay,
She bought me a couple of those, but I just ran them if we were out somewhere, and just to probably keep me quiet in the car.
Like on a holiday or something, maybe?
Yeah, I remember going to the Gold Coast on holiday, and Mum and Dad would take my sister and I to the news agency, and we'd get like an Archie to keep us amused.
Yep.
We'd read Archie.
Okay.
My brother used to get Richie Rich, Hot Stuff, Casper, Mickey Mouse, Donald Duck, Uncle Scrooge. Ken actually read a lot of those kind of comics, and I used to go in and steal his out of his bedroom. Thanks, Kent. Love you. And I used to steal his comics and read those. Okay. And that's how I first kind of got into reading comics. But for superhero comics, 1994, and it was the tail end of Nightfall. There you go. Who else have we got chatting away there?
Sean said 1994 was when I really dived in after years of dabbling too. It was an issue of Wizard I picked up on holidays. That was the tipping point.
Sean, what was the cover of that issue of Wizard? Was that the Spawn Spider-Man cover? Because that was the first.
That's the first
one. And I tell you what, I read that thing cover to cover a couple of times. I got it right before we went on school holidays. I bought it at school. You read it. I read it. And then I took it in the truck with me when I went to Darwin with my brother. And I read that thing cover to cover, every single page, every article, everything in it.
But all of them were really, like the casting couch. I loved the fact that they were doing a fan casting of a movie, but also the custom action figures. Yes. I used to love that. Yeah,
that was fantastic. Sean said, was Spawn by himself in 39. I have to find out which. I've still got the original Wizard magazine. It's in my collection. And then I started reading Wizard pretty much every month. And it was fantastic. But yeah, like I said, I miss Wizard. In the modern comics landscape, I miss something like Wizard, where they'd do a studio tour. They'd go into a creator and look at what was on their desk or whatever else they were doing, and there'd be photos, and then they'd describe things of what they're working on. I miss that because you don't really see it. And people go, oh, well, sometimes it's on Twitter. You've got to trawl through a lot of rubbish on Twitter to find that kind of stuff by a comic creator, because it's all opinions and people arguing over politics and that nowadays.
Exactly.
I want to see the artist. It
was in a place where it was easily digestible.
Yep.
You didn't have to go searching around to try and find it.
I miss that. Even if someone could do some form of an online thing like Wizard, talking to artists, showing the process, asking them what they're influenced by,
Because didn't they try bringing it back as like a digital only version?
They floated the idea of it, I think. And there was rumblings it was going to kick off. It was almost going to be like a real cheap subscription kind of thing for a digital version. And as far as I know, it never took off. It didn't happen.
And I guess the problem is that people don't really see digital, like paying for newspaper subscriptions online. People don't really see it.
People don't want to pay for it.
Yeah.
So that's the hardest thing. If you do it today, you've got to do it for the love of it.
Yeah.
And maybe sell some ads on it or something like that. Because all we got today, I mean, for a few years we had some all right stuff. You had Newsarama and comic book resources. I loathe Bleeding Cool with a passion, and that I just think Bleeding Cool is trash. But sadly, it's about where you get some of the only real comic book news nowadays, because Newsarama and comic book resources are rubbish nowadays. They got bought up by other companies.
They?
Yeah, they got bought up by bigger companies and just become a part of it, and it's just rubbish, a lot of that. If you've got a good place where you get your comic book news, apart from your local comic book shop, tell us, share it in there so others can see as well.
Steve said, seriously, watch cartoonist Keyfab.
Kayfabe. You need glasses.
Probably.
How can you not read that? It's kayfabe, cartoonist kayfabe.
For the Wizard apps. That's where they're going through. Yeah,
Reese has summed up perfectly there. Twitter is a cesspool. I think they do some stuff like that in Discord, but it's usually creator initiative. I've never done Discord. I wouldn't know where to start. I probably should. I'm such a grumpy old man. My wife, if you're watching, you might have to set me up on Discord or something like that. I don't know, because I'm horrible at tech.
I used to, and there's a couple episodes on YouTube. I'm going to have to go back and try and find it to send it to you. But it was a magazine that came out with a video cassette.
Yeah.
And people have put it on YouTube now, and it's like a mini comic book Wizard. As like a TV show that you would buy the video every month.
Yeah.
And I'll have to send you a couple of issues of it. Because it was cool, because they'd go around different studios and show things off. But I remember there was an episode of a TV show where Mario Lopez was the host.
Mario!
Anyway, it was like, I think it was called Choose Your Own Adventure.
Yeah.
Anyway, they would go to kids and say, hey, what do you want to be when you grow up? And there was one kid that said, I want to be a comic book artist. Anyway, he had actually drawn his own character.
Yeah.
And it was the coolest looking character. And they took him to Image. Oh, no, Wildstorm.
Yeah.
They took him to Wildstorm with the man that can't draw feet.
No, wait, Rob Liefeld was Extreme Studios.
Extreme Studios,
yeah.
sorry. And they had this big Bad Rock character dressed up in the costume.
Yeah.
But this kid has shown Rob Liefeld his comic and what the character looks like. And Rob went, all right, well, hang on. Let me show you how to sort of evolve the character.
We'll add pouches and we'll just put some rubble at his feet and rub the rest out.
Anyway.
I love Rob. I'm just going to put this on record. I actually freaking love Rob. I'm friends with Rob on Facebook. I follow Rob's podcast. Rob can be very opinionated. Rob will never admit that he's wrong, but I actually love Rob Liefeld purely for the fact he is one of the biggest cheerleaders comics.
I was about to say champions of the...
Yep, he is phenomenal when it comes to being positive about comic shops and going to comic shops and stuff like that. Rob is pretty old school like that. Is he right about 100% of things? God no. His art still sells. Like, I swear to you, any variant cover of Rob Liefeld's we get in, and we keep upping the order nowadays, right? We get a few extra copies in, they sell out real quick. And everyone goes, oh, it's a Rob Liefeld variant? I'll grab that.
And just to finish it off, so he sort of showed him how to design the character just to make him look a little bit more cooler. And the character's name was Guardian Angel, right? It looks identical to Redeemer.
Really?
And you can't tell me that Rob Liefeld...
But Rob Liefeld didn't do Redeemer. That came up in Spawn.
Yeah. You can't tell me that they didn't talk to each other.
Oh, him and McFarlane?
Yeah.
Oh, probably. I don't know.
And McFarlane went...
If you find that episode, can you shoot me that?
I will send it to you, yeah.
Yeah, please do. I'd like to watch that.
It's a really cool...
It actually brings me back. God, talk about reminiscing, right? It's a show for reminiscing. I found a year or so ago when I was doing a tidy up, I moved some boxes from my sister's. I had some boxes in storage at my sister's place.
Yep.
And I moved them. And I went through and I found, you and I created comic characters.
Yes.
Back in high school.
Yes.
Now mine was Red Angel and yours was... Puma, right? And I found the drawing that one of our mates had done who was a pretty cool artist.
Yep.
Pete, actually both of them were brothers, but it was
It was Peter, Sean that was drawing the art.
They were twins, and Sean. So Sean Mackin, if you ever see this, big thumbs up and shout out to you. Sean drew based on my rough designs and everything else. Sean drew a fantastic piece of Red Angel, and I still have that piece today.
Cool, man. There's a couple bits where we were drawing stuff, and I've scanned those and chucked them up on my Facebook page. So
have you got a picture of my Red Angel?
I'll have to find it and I'll send it to you.
Fantastic.
Because when I shifted house, I was going through everything and I found some of these in a folder. So
that is awesome.
Yeah.
Look at that. See,
there's some cool old stuff
that comes out. What are people saying to us here?
I get my comic book news from YouTube and a place called Bounding Into Comics.
Yeah, I've seen some of the Bounding Into Comics. You got to be careful with it.
And when we post stuff.
Oh, well, that's fantastic. Thank you for that.
Did Puma have a sponsorship deal? No. Puma...
looked a lot like Black Panther.
Black Panther, yeah, with like... Black Panther, but with electricity claws.
Which I think's actually been done in Black Panther.
Oh, really?
I think so.
Bitch.
I'm not sure. Don't quote me.
And Puma it stood for something like it was a mechanical suit.
Yeah. What did Reese say further up? It's a nerdiversary. Yeah, it kind of is. Like I said, that's two big milestones for you and I in our lives. And you know, like I said, 30 years ago, we first became mates. That's 30 years ago, you and I first became mates.
Grade 8, our eyes locked from across the room.
And looked at each other and went, he looks like an idiot like me. I reckon we'll be mates.
Turn up your expectations.
Yep. 20 years for me, for Kaboom. I turned a hobby into a business 20 years ago. And I've met amazing people through here, some great mates. And met my beautiful wife through here. So it's some big anniversaries this year. We were just saying, 12 years ago was when we first launched Geek Speak. That 12 years has flown by.
It's an incredible period of time.
And
we're still alive.
We're still here.
Most people thought we wouldn't be.
Yeah.
A lot of people wished we weren't still here. A lot of people on Twitter wish we weren't still here.
I think if anyone has money on us, I reckon we're just holding on just to spite them.
I reckon the Vegas odds are in our favour.
Yeah.
We're going to collect soon.
Vegas, baby.
We're going to collect soon.
What else we got there?
I just wanted... Matthew said there was also an amalgam character that mixed Nightwing...
How dare you bring that up?
Nightwing
and... Go for the Christmas card list.
And Moon Knight.
Yeah, that would have been freaking cool. Especially because it was in the 90s and Nightwing just looked freaking awesome back then.
I just wanted to quickly... we were talking about movies and you brought up a quick little tidbit about the Dick Tracy movies.
Now, the reason
Can we tell you a story?
The reason
I
mention this is in the latest previews is a brand new Dick Tracy comic.
Oh shit! Really?
Launched by, I want to say, is it Mad Cave or Massive Publishing?
Oh, cool.
We are going to get a couple in because I'm a sucker for those old classics.
Yeah.
Now, this is a modern take on Dick Tracy. When I say modern take, it's a modern creative team doing Dick Tracy.
But it's not in a modern period of time.
I don't think so, no. They didn't give much of a teaser in the previews or anything, which kind of irked me. I'm like, they've just given us covers. There's not even a shot of the
Dick Tracy
interior.
doesn't work outside of that period of time. It'd be like pushing the Rocketeer or the Shadow out of that period of time.
No, you've got to keep them in that time.
Yeah.
I'm going to get a couple of copies for shelf because I'm a sucker and I like to support. And if it's bad, so be it.
We'll write them off.
I'll write them off. We'll start a bonfire out the back with them. But we are going to get it, and it led to a story about the Dick Tracy movie rights.
Warren Beatty.
Did you say Beatty or Beatty? What do you want to say?
Well, we can say Beatty if we want.
Because I always thought in America they always say Warren Beatty. But that's just the way they say it. But I will say Warren Beatty.
Anyway, Warren himself.
I didn't realise he has the movie rights. So no one else can make... Yeah, like
he bought them himself.
But the rights should have reverted years ago because they've never done... What was it, early 90s that came out?
Yeah.
No one's done a movie. But how he gets around it to retain the rights, if he appears on a filmed thing, in costume, in character, it's considered a sequel. So he's done, in the last couple of years, to retain the rights, he has done an interview with...
Leonard
Moulton, where he is in character as Dick Tracy, and that ticks all the boxes for him to retain the rights to Dick Tracy. And he just did one last year again, but it was a Zoom call.
It was like a Zoom call with Leonard Moulton, really.
But it was filmed, like they recorded it and put it up, and that is an unofficial, ticks all the checks and boxes, to make it a sequel so that he keeps the rights. So Warren Beatty, what's the guy now, 90?
He'd have to be.
He's a petty prick. But God bless him, because you know what? I mean, the fact that he's worked this out and gone, I'm just going to do it every couple of years to keep this going. Until I'm in the fucking ground in a box. I said I wasn't going to swear much on the show tonight, but...
It's upsetting, though, because I would love to see someone else be able to do that.
Yeah, I'd like to see someone else come along and do a really good Dick Tracy movie. Yeah. I'd like to see someone come along and do a freaking new Shadow movie.
Yes.
I still have a soft spot for the Adam Baldwin Shadow movie.
Yes, absolutely.
That was a really good thing.
Absolutely.
I was going to say, Sean Gordon Murphy, we're up to issue 2 of it. He's done a Zorro comic.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. I'm trying to convince, people pick it up and go, looks cool, looks really good. Oh, I like his art style. And I'm like, this is the guy who did Batman, White Knight, and Beyond the White Knight, and Curse of the White Knight, and everyone's, oh, yeah. But they're like, oh.
No, I'll leave it here.
And they leave it. I'm like, if you really love Sean Gordon Murphy, pick up his Zorro comic, because it's friggin' good. But people are like, Zorro. You know, and I'm like, this is why we can't have nice things, people.
Aaron said that the guys from Spinal Tap do that all the time too.
Do what?
Release a video with them as the characters to retain the rights. But the fact is that they created those characters and that you know.
Warren Beatty didn't create Dick Tracy. No. He's just got the movie.
He's just being petty and stopping other people from doing it.
You know, tip of the hat to him. God bless him that he's petty enough at that age to go, fuck him, I'm going to keep doing it.
Reese said, yeah, but Sony did the same thing with Spider-Man. Yeah, well, they do the same thing with Fantastic Four too, as well.
Yeah, but that was because Marvel was in bankruptcy and Marvel needed the money really badly, and they made really bad deals at the time. Really bad deals. And that is the only reason that is the way it is.
I was disappointed that Roger Corman 90s Fantastic Four was never released. And none of the people that worked on it were told this is what the plan is.
Did you ever manage to track down the Justice League TV pilot?
No.
David Ogden Stiers.
I only saw a trailer of it, I think, some footage. It's on YouTube, I'm sure.
Is it? Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, because I remember back in Wizard in the day when they were really talking about that, and I kept going, the guy from MASH, the annoying bald-headed Major from MASH is going to play Martian Manhunter.
Yeah, and
they had fire and ice in it.
But I think the problem with that show was it was a TV show, but they chose characters that their superpowers were going to be expensive to do.
Oh, yeah, so it was done on the cheap.
Yeah, so they should have picked characters that didn't really have superpowers or had superpowers where they could just turn invisible.
Yeah.
You know, rather than all these special effects that they would have needed to have done.
Just quickly, by the way, I want to show a couple of cool things.
Yep.
When did Clerks 3 come out?
It came out after our last episode.
Was it?
Because our last episode was the trailer.
Oh, so we haven't talked about this.
We haven't talked about this, no.
Clerks 3. We're both pretty strong, manly men, right?
Hang on, I'm not coming with this voyage. I'm not coming on this voyage with you. If you're going on this voyage, I'm not coming with you.
You are.
If you're going to tell people about this,
hey, you just said about me in school with my stuff up with English. You rang me when it came out because you could buy it through what was it? Was it Apple or something like that?
Something like that.
Or Prime. Might have been Amazon Prime. And you said, "Have you watched it yet?" And I said, "No, I'm planning to watch it tomorroght night." And I said, why?
Maybe I should take a drink of water so I can react to whatever you were about to say.
And you were like, dude, I teared up. I was blubbering and I was like, really? And I'm thinking, you big wuss. Right? So the next night, the wife and I sat down. By the end of it, she's got a hand on my leg. She goes, are you okay, honey? And I'm sitting there going, yeah, I see why Ginger was crying.
It hit way too close to home, didn't it?
It really did.
It did.
I said we've been mates for this year's 30 years together, and it kind of struck home because we've always been that little bit of a Dante Randall back and forth kind of thing.
Or at least Randall Lunchbox.
Hey, I really was dead set against Kevin Smith doing a Clerks 3. I thought we didn't need to have it. I thought Clerks 2 was perfect. Leave it at that, right? And then
on the last episode, we watched the trailer live, and you went, Okay.
I'm like, you bastard, he's got me.
Yeah.
I watched it. I actually did enjoy it, and I said, I hope he doesn't come back and do it. Well, you can't remember anyway. I'm not spoiler alert, but something happens that made us cry. Anyway, we didn't see an awful lot of merch for it though.
No.
But what did come out late last year?
Oh shit!
Was a set of Clerks 3 pop vinyls. Can you see those?
God, dude, you've got all of them?
There's the whole set of 4. Actually, no. Sorry, there is 5. There is. Who am I? Oh, I don't have Elias. Sorry, Elias sold.
Oh, but really?
But who cares about Elias?
Who bought Elias?
Someone did. There's an Elias fan out there somewhere. We have Dante, Jay, Randall, and Silent Bob. These are the Clerks 3 pop vinyls, so they are available in store at your local comic shop. www.kaboomcomicsaustralia.com.
It's a long way away from my birthday.
Well, maybe
it's a long way away.
Maybe Mel might snap them up.
It's a long way away from my birthday.
But anyway, yeah. So there wasn't much merch for it, but they did release only like late last year. We got those in set.
Yeah. It cut way too close to home, that movie, and I really wasn't expecting. And Clerks 2 was phenomenal. I remember going to the cinema and just loving that.
You and I watched Clerks 2 a week before we flew to America for the first time.
Wow.
And then we were over there. We went to Jay and Silent Bob's Secret Stash in Westwood and in LA, where we met Jason Mewes and we also met Brian. And we had a fantastic trip. We had it was great meeting those guys, and sadly that store's no longer there. It shut about a year or so later. But we actually got Clerks 2 because it'd been out in the US for about 3 months.
Yeah.
And it had only just come out the week before we flew over there. Because that was back, what was that, 2006? That was back when Australia was still 2 to 3 months behind on new releases for some stuff. So,
the memories, eh?
Memories. In the corner of my mind. Misty watercolored memories. Are you right?
I'm concerned.
We will stop singing now.
I'm concerned that the copyright restrictions will. Hang on. ChatGPT is not that good enough to figure out what we were singing.
That is true. That is very true. It's over an hour. We said we were going to do an hour-long show. We've done over an hour. I hope you've enjoyed it. Now, this isn't going to be a weekly thing. We're going to try and do it at least once a month. You're away we both got pretty big marches on, but we're going to try and slot it somewhere. It'll be a Wednesday night usually. Yeah. Somewhere in March.
Tell us what you think about this new format.
Do you like that we can put a poll up? And I'm disappointed in you, Geek Speakers, that you voted down.
All right, let's
what's going up?
Let's close the poll.
Oh no, hang on, tell them. Can you show the results?
Okay, show the results.
Jensen Ackles has made a fight back.
53%
have said they could see him as Batman, yes or no.
47% no. Ooh.
Yeah.
You've got 1 minute to finish it off.
Really? Okay. But have you got the other results still there? Alan Richardson?
Yep.
We closed it, but I tell you what.
Overwhelmingly, yes.
Yes, although it narrowed a little bit towards the tail end. There you go. Interesting.
At least double. But Jensen Ackles is neck and neck. Neck and neck.
Yeah. As I said, check out Radio Company. Jensen Ackles singing and playing guitar. It's really good. Really, really good.
Yeah, so let us know what you think of the show. Comment down below. Any final questions or comments?
I keep scrolling and hitting the wrong thing on my phone. So I have to read them here. Scott, what does Scott say? Brilliant show. Cheers, lads. Thank you, Scott. Looking forward to more and celebrating the 20-year and 30-year anniversary with you fellas. As I said, next Friday, 1st of March, I want to see people, Kaboomers, out there, come on down, say g'day, visit your local comic shop, pick something up and have a chat to us. And we're going to, celebrate 20 years of Kaboom that way. I think it'll be really nice just to see you all come in store, and I just want to see your faces and have a chat. So that's a perfect way to celebrate.
And bring a present. Or buy what's in your box.
Just pick up stuff that's in your box. That will make this guy really friggin' happy. I've had to chase a few people lately, and I hate doing that. So and this is why some of these other comic shops have faltered around the country. Like I said, we've lost a handful in the last month alone. So support your local comic shop. And come and celebrate on the 1st of March, 20 years of Kaboom, where we are streaming live from tonight here at Geek Speak Live. Mate, it's been an absolute pleasure being back behind the mics.
Yeah, hopefully the people at home have been enjoying it.
By the way, we can't even say that anymore, back behind the mics. We used to actually have big mics here. You've got these fancy little ones. I've probably tapped them a few times on the show.
But we're behind mics. We're physically behind the microphone.
Mine's been
It's in
absorbed
front.
into my chest hair. My chest hair's going.
It might be a little bit more muffled than normal, but hopefully the sounds pretty good.
You're lucky you didn't turn around and walk out there when I put the Geek Speak shirt on tonight because it looked like a silverback gorilla out the back.
I was waiting for a button to go, and then just...
My old Geek Speak shirt literally had a hole under here and everything.
Oh, gosh.
We've worn it out, and I said, mate, I don't think we're going to be able to podcast with the. And you've gone.
Well, what did you say? So these are 12 years old, these shirts?
These shirts are 12 years old. This one was barely ever used. It was one of our crew members used to wear this one. Please tell me you washed it before you gave it to me. Because that doesn't smell like my cologne, Jint. So you had to bring down another shirt and go, here, put this on, you fat bastard. And literally, ping, ping.
We had to go next door to the shoe resizer and put the shirt in there. And
just said, restitch this up. Anyway.
Laura said, happy to have you guys back. Looking forward to seeing more and celebrating 20 years of Kaboom
Thank
Comics.
you, yeah.
Thank you.
It's great. And we're glad to be back doing this again this year. We hope you've enjoyed the show, folks. Stay geeky. Love your geeky passions, and make sure you support local businesses, support your local comic shop, and enjoy and read the things that are coming out, and make sure you share it with friends, good friends, because that's what being geeky is all about, having good geeky mates. Like my mate here, Wade Copson.
I'm the Pots and Pans. Thanks very much to everyone tuning in.
I've been your host, Todd Bailey. You stay geeky, Australia, and we'll see you on the next show.
Bye.
Bye.